Okay. Game crashed again. Nice. I mean, it's just becoming like normal thing for me. But we go again in here. Nothing has really changed. Albo improving his time 122.261, I think, improves. I think some Pete goes PU7 121.637 as he goes slowly and causes yellow flags, but if those yellow flags aren't really necessary. Lewis is gonna finish his lap, hopefully improving his 122. He doesn't improve because he went really slowly in the Parabolica and he goes into the pit lane. Lewis, the other Lewis in the Alpine, he is gonna finish his lap and his first completed lap as Lamas goes P4 120.994, Lewis goes P2 120.80, 120.280, 2000s ahead of Reggie. Lamas drops down to P5. His time is as well very good, into 120s, and probably securing his spot in Q3. But well, Lewis went faster, but I'm not gonna start a comparison between them or anything. As of right now, only Lewis and Lamas are out on track. That's the Modern going into his pit box. As Lebi goes out of the pit lane, as well as Lewis, the other Lewis, or Lewis. I don't know how am I gonna say it differently. I'm not bothered to say Lewis R or Lewis 4. I don't know how am I gonna do them differently. You can't be bothered to say Lewis R or Lewis 4. But anyways, less than 4 minutes into the Q2. Now on the chopping block are Lebi, Albo, Lewis and Gemini. So both Aston Martins are at risk of going out of Q2. Obviously the Aston Martin is not the quickest car, it's 9th quickest, and it has the Mercedes engine, so it's basically bad in everywhere. But as well, Williams is bad everywhere. That's okay. Lebi is gonna start his own time lap, and maybe his last timed lap. Going into the first chicane, making nicely, going a bit wide, going off track a bit, but hopefully that doesn't cost much time. That costs some time, but hopefully not as much. Not going actually as much on the inside. It's already losing 7 tenths in the first sector, so that was actually pretty costly. I would not think that it's gonna be that costly, but it was pretty much really costly. As he goes slowly on his time, so he gives up on his time. Lamas resides in the pits. Lewis, as right now, the only driver to do is doing a lap. Yeah, Lewis is going very slowly. Lewis Is he gonna improve by almost 3 tenths? He's improving, but he has to find like 8. But he has to find almost a second on this third sector, which for me doesn't look very likely. But anything can happen. Going into the parabolica, not spinning or anything. Now flat out into the finish line, and it's gonna be P10 for Lewis. He found it that 1 second, or almost a second in that third sector, which puts him now P10 121.733 753. Sorry. But there is still Jovi on his outlap. Levy improving 2.5 tenths on his lap. Albo as well on his time lap. The same improvement. Well, not exactly the same, but if we round them up, pretty much the same. Shinumnai, his teammate, is on an outlap. So there are 4 drivers who can demote him down, and Levy improves 7.5 tenths. Going a bit wide on the Ascari, somehow he did not get invalidated. Albo, well, we missed it, but he's probably improving as well. Pretty much the same. Levy now out of the parabolica, cutting into the inside, saving some time, and it's gonna be 121.254. He's going P8 and drops down Lewis. Albo finishing his time, going P4, and that drops down Pete, but he's not improving. Jovi is not really improving the first sector. Now there's Jovi and Shinumnai who can demote them. Pete is not improving on his time. Luke going a bit wide, but I don't think he's as well he's gonna improve on his time. Jovi has retired. Jovi is retired on track. That may interrupt Shinumnai's time, and that does interrupts Shinumnai's time. He hits Jovi, and Shinumnai gets 5 lazy grid penalty for the collision with Jovi's AI. That's a bit. That's from my side. From my perspective, a bit stupid move from Jovi to retire the car on track just by clicking in the menu, retire from the session. That's probably gonna be. That's gonna maybe report it, but who knows? Luke, I don't think he improved this on his time, but that's Luke just going into the Q3. Pete, Lewis, Jovi, and Shinumnai have gone out of Q2. Well, obviously Shinumnai got what the hell is that? But he got his time ruined by Jovi, and that's Shinumnai's time of 2 minutes and 1 second. Well, obviously we know what happened. But yeah, that's the quality session done. And yeah, Shazza P1, Red Bull drivers still dominating. P2 Lewis, he's looking very quick around here in Monza, and behind him is Reggie, the championship leader. Obviously wants to extend his lead, and yeah. But yeah, this is Q2 done. Shazar P1, Lewis P2, Reggie P3, Coke P4, Albo P5, Hybe P6, Lamas P7, Ted P8, Levy P9, and Luke rounds off the top 10 and rounds off the Q3 qualifiers. Pete P11, Lewis P12, Jovi P13, and Chinumnai P14. Unfortunately, getting the 5-place grid penalty. But now we focus on Q3, where for everyone matters the quality positions. But yeah, Frag has left. I don't know who that is. As well, I'm pretty new in this league, so this is my second race commentating. So, but yeah, we see that guy from Mercedes running out. So Albo going out of his pit box, but as well from the AlphaTauri as well. Hybe going first out on track. Then it's Albo, which okay, I have the camera. Then it's gonna be Ted. Then it's the Red Bull pair, both Reggie and Shaza. Then not really anyone. So both run out. McLaren's, Levy and Lewis, Coke as well. Now someone from the McLaren, it's Lamas going out of his pit box. Hype is gonna be first starting his first time lap, and there goes Luke out of his pit box. I don't know if you guys hear something in the background, but if you guys hear it, then I apologize. Again, the same. I don't even actually know. But this isn't about my personal life. It's about PB Racing League at Monza. Hybe is gonna be the first to start his own flying lap. So we should take a onboard look at his time. There is open 351 kilometers per hour, braking into the first chicane. Second gear, now third gear, fourth gear, sixth gear, and going now into the Curva Grande. Easily flat. Obviously, we want to be as close to the inside line as possible. Now into the second chicane, taking the curves aggressively, as well maximizing the exit. Now into the first Lesmo, getting a bit wide, but okay. Now second Lesmo, done pretty nicely, after invalidating. Now gear is open and focusing on the Ascari. Cutting this corner as much as possible. I don't even know how I go. I don't even remember. But done pretty nicely. Now focusing into the Parabolica, taking the apex nicely, cutting on the inside. Well, he doesn't do it, but it's going to be a time of 1:20.859. Behind him is going to be Albo. 700 behind him, and then there is Coke, who is starting his own lap. Then is Ted, who has invalidated his time, but it's gonna be Reggie. 1:20.092, 8 tenths ahead of Hybe. Then there is Shaza, who I guess he spun on his time because he had no front wing, but that's Reggie. On the provisional pole position. Then it's gonna be Luke, who's gonna be finishing his time. Lamas messed up his time, his lap, I think. Coke spins out of the first Lesmo. Luke into P4, 1:20.957. 300s behind Albo. That's Lamas P5, but that's time a bit ruined, I guess, for him. Ted has as well spun as he almost gets stuck. He almost gets stuck on the entry of second Lesmo, and I guess he as well spun on his on his um on his time, on his flying lap. I don't even know if it does also flying lap. Coke going into the pits as well as Reggie. Then there's gonna be Lewis, who's gonna be starting his own time shortly. Levy as well, just 2 corners. Now only 1, and he's gonna be starting his own time. Lamas as well, probably on his time, I'm guessing. And I guess as well, Lamas got a slipstream from Luke, but he doesn't have that much ERS left, so it's not gonna be the best time. I don't think like, but it's gonna stay P5, improving into 121.173, but still 2/10 behind Luke. Albo invalid at his time. Lewis doing his time as he backs off a bit for some reason. I don't know. Let's see. We shall not know for now. Second Lesma for Leby. Honduras open, and second sector is going to be 54.4. Ascari now. And he spins out of Ascari. He luckily doesn't hit the wall. Now he hits the wall. But he doesn't hit the wall massively, and he doesn't crash out of Q3. Luckily, no damage or anything, but that's lap ruined for Levy. Shaza on his out lap. Ted as well on his out lap. Bit of a jump for Ted. Levy 138, but we know what happened. We got the onboard from it. Shaza starting his own time lap, and maybe the last one. It may be the last one, but some drivers just surprise me. Getting the fastest first sector, 26.177. Ted going slow in the Parabolica, trying to get the heat into his tires. I guess Shazar got a good Lesmos now. 53.286. Fast second sector. Scary done nicely. This might be the fast. This lap might put him ahead of Reggie by quite a margin. Now Parabolic, he loses his rear, and that's his lap ruined again. I think he lost his rear, but that lap would have been so good. That lap would have been so good because like he had fast first sector and second, what we saw, but he lost it out of Parabolica, and that's lap ruined. Ted going as well on his time lap, trying to get a bit of a slipstream from Lewis. 53.3 fast second sector, as you see. Now Ted has to focus on Parabolica. Hopefully not losing the rear as Shazad did. Almost going off track. almost going off track, and that puts in P2 120.717 in a Williams P2. This guy should get a. This guy should honestly get like, honestly, a spot in at least like McLaren, or at least a McLaren, maybe Alfa Romeo, because well, the Alfa Romeo pair of drivers did not do very well in their home soil, and I'm saying that this is the home soil, home track for Ferrari. Well, as of right now, Coke isn't doing the best. He has not put his time on the leaderboard in this Q3. Tifosi may be a bit angry and getting a bit nervous if he's getting the lap done. I'm gonna check the comments. I'm gonna check them after Q3. But Coke is starting his own time lap, but ahead of him there's Luke, who is, I think, starting his own time lap. There's as well a bit of a race between, I think, is that Reggie? No, Shazza and Lamas. and behind them there's Reggie. Hybe retires in the pit lane. Now we don't see how much time there is left, but I'm guessing like under 30 seconds. So the drivers have to get the move. Okay, it wasn't under 30 seconds, but there's Albo who has I think spun or half spun out of the second corner, and that's no, wait, he finished his time. Sorry, going into P2 120.499. There's yellow flags going into the Ascari. Coke spinning out of Ascari! Tifosi are angry. Tifosi are gonna be angry for him. Probably getting P10. Lewis 53. He ruined his time. The second sector was 53.0. That was the fastest second sector that I've seen here. And fastest second sector that I've seen it in general here. Luke retires in the pits. Coke retires. Tifosi are angry. He's gonna be P9. There lays the Ferrari car. Lewis spins. Shazza is gonna finish his time. Just Coke's car goes off. And that's Shazza going P2 120.3. Not his best time. Reggie is improving 24 thousandths. Lamas improving his time to 120.891. But that's Reggie on pole position. He knows himself that he is on pole position. He's not even finishing his time. Swerving a bit because he knows that he's in pole position, and the front row is a Red Bull lockout, and behind them is Mercedes of Albo. Then there comes Ted in the Williams. Hybe P5, Lamas P6, Luke P7, Leby P8, Coke P9 and Lewis P10. Ferrari fans and especially Italian fans are angry at Alfa Romeo and Ferrari. Well, more at Ferrari because home soil, and they have one of the fastest cars in this game. But Coke messed it up completely, and he's gonna be starting P9 in Monza. And yeah, that's qualifying done. And yeah, that's qualifying done. Now we go into the race. I don't know if it's gonna be the same as last time, that there's gonna be a restart. I don't know, but I guess not. I guess there isn't. Drivers getting ready for the formation lap. As the formation lap is starting now, and we shall see what drivers went for their tires. Reggie went, well, pretty much everyone else went for the mediums, besides Shaza and Albo going aggressive on their first stint, going to the softs, and Ted starting on hards, which surprised me a bit as he spins in here. That's obviously formation lap, so it's not gonna be even like he doesn't get any damage. But it's kind of surprised me that Ted in a Williams, he again spins. But it surprised me that he's starting on hards. I would have thought that he might go the same as the rest of the pack, like to the mediums, or maybe even softs. But he's going on hards. We saw last time in Zavod, I think, if I remember right, that he went on hards as well and he again almost he spins. Bodenfrack and Noise got their places. Noise might be getting again a very he's starting again last. He might get again very good race. But yeah, pretty much everyone else on mediums besides Shaza and Albo on softs and Ted on hards. Drivers obviously wanting to warm up the tires as much as possible, as Reggie spins on the formation lap. As well, the Williams back there is lagging so much. Holy shit! Is that Stack? Oh my god, he's lagging so... He's lagging... Holy Jesus, he's lagging so much. Okay, he might be a bit danger for this race. He might be a bit of a danger for this race. But the drivers are going into the grid slots. Reggie, Stack, Diego, and Noise getting disqualified from the quali. But we, Shinamna as well. But we focus to the grid for the start, or not for now. Hello. Hello, game, wake up. What? Why are we staying? Why are we stationary? Everyone is here. I don't understand. Oh, now we go. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and lights, and our lights out, and away we go. Reggie keeps his first position as for now. Shazar keeps P2. Albo P3 as well, keeps it. Hype improves into P3, but he cuts the corner and he has to give them position back. Behind there's a bit of collision. Albo going P2, Ted P3, Shaza dropping to P6, now P5. Lucas will drop down to P20, but there's a bit of a carnage here. Luckily I don't think there's any big collisions. Albo defending very aggressively from the Williams, but Albo staying in P2, Ted P3, Reggie already 2 seconds out of Albo. Shaza P4, but he's gonna probably get Ted in this straight. Levy I think got spun, or he spun out. Shaza P3, Ted back into P4, Hype P5, and they're going 3 wide, almost 3 wide into in, into the Parabolica. Coke going first in here. Jogger P7. Lamas P8. Diego going wide out of the Parabolica, hitting the outside wall. But he's going back to... Going back on the track, but he crashes out. He crashes into the pit wall, entry of the pit wall. That's VSC out, so that's a bit of a cool down for me and for the drivers. Reggie P1 getting really nice start and avoiding all the chaos. Albo P2, Shaza P3, Ted P4, Hybe P5, Jogger P6, Coke P7. The Tifosi fans can be a bit more happy, but obviously P7 in the Ferrari is not very good. Oh, and as well, it's a full safety car. Lamas P8, Giovi P9, nicely improving from what position was he even? Well, he improved 4 positions. Pete P10 improved 1 position. George 4 position improved P11. Shenumnai getting bad qualifying from the things that happened between him and Jovi. Now his P12 improved 5 positions. Noise improved 7 positions. He again gets a good start. As there's a bit. Shenumnai tried to overtake George, I think. As George has to give the position to Shenumnai. And Shenumnai is ahead of George. Albo going into the pits, going into the hards. There was no front wing change, so change of strategy. Maybe trying to go to the end on these hards. Where did I start? Noise now P12 gains 8 positions. Lewis P13 losing 3 positions. Luke losing 7 positions. Now P14. Lewis. India Samaran losing 3 positions now into P15. Stack P16 stayed in here. Frag improved 2 positions. Albo lost now 15 positions, but he went into the pit lane. He was P2, so he started P3, so he improved 1 position. He would have improved 1 position, but he went into the pits. Lebby spinning out of the second Lesmo. Maybe he got spun out, we don't know, but he's now P19, and Diego is the only driver to now crash out. But that's for the blue teams 1, 2, 3. For the Red Bulls, it's a 1-2 for now. Ted P3, Hype P4, Jogger got the most positions from P14 to P5. Yeah, from P14 to P5. So it's a very good start for him, as well as for Noise, who has improved 8 positions. The driver who has lost the most positions are Albo, but he went to the pit, so technically it's Lebby. It's 11 positions, and then it's Luke with 7 positions. I'm guessing there was a bit of chaos going into turn 1. Well, classic Monza. Shaza losing. He spun out. He got 5 seconds for collision with Frag. Frag was behind Stack, so maybe Frag tagged Stack. Maybe, but he got 5 seconds for it, and he's now down to P19, which puts Albo higher, so that's 1 less driver for him. Stack trying to. What is Stack doing? He got now 5 seconds time penalty for collision with Lebby. What is man doing? Now Lebby wants to... No. Stack. Now Stack finally overtakes Libby because I think Libby had to come from the game that he had to let go Stack. Safety car is in this lap, so Reggie is gonna control his pace, going very slowly in Ascari. But yeah, Sitka in this lap. Drivers swerving around to get heat into the tires, and as well Ted has very hard task to get the temps into the harsh because they're very difficult to get. And there's Stack lagging in the background. Jesus Christ, man. But safety car is in the pit lane, and Reggie goes now. It's a restart, so it's go. Shazza spins out of the parabolica, and he goes almost to the last place. I think Pete as well got caught up in it. So Ted P2, Reggie still remains in P1, Ted P2, and I don't know, was he tagged? I don't think, but I think he locked up the rear, and the AlphaTauri spins out of the second corner, or he lost the rear and tapped Ted. Ted did not get caught up in that. Coke P3, so Ferrari fans are now happy to see at least an Italian team into P3. There are random yellow flags where the car is Noah. Reggie already 2 seconds out of Ted. Jogger P4, Lamas P5, Jovi P6. So that's very good for the all Italian teams. Lewis trying around the outside of on the Ascari to overtake George, and he actually managed to do it. George at the exit of the Ascari lost the rear a bit. He saved it, but now he's getting overtaken by Lewis in the Aston Martin. As well, Shinumnoi is in P7. Noise from the last place now into P8. What is this man doing again from the last place? He likes the last place, I guess. Shazza now trying to do his best comeback that he can, using these soft tires to his advantage. He's 2.5 seconds behind Luke. Well, now it went to 2 seconds. Pete as well overtaking Frag. Coke trying to overtake Ted. Both of them went off track. One went the other and one went to the other. But Coke is ahead, and Ted spins out of this first Lesmo. And that's maybe front wing damage for him. That's again better for Shazza, who is now P12. So they're at the back, I think Stack spun. Hybe 26 seconds behind Stack. He's way down the order. But that's Reggie 3 seconds ahead of Coke. And that's as well on the Ascari. That's bottom frag spinning, and there's multiple cars actually. Shinumnai, I think he got caught up in it, but at least Lewis, Lebby, Frag there somewhere. Like 4 cars got caught up in a incident in Ascari. Lewis has to pit. Shinumnai was P7, now he's P14. Something has happened for him as well. Ted, well, he spun out himself out of the first Lesmo. Shazza now P11. Actually, not actually getting close to Luke. Well, obviously because now the DRS is open and Luke he's just in the DRS of Albo. Shazza doesn't have the DRS, so he has to somehow not lose that much on the straights and just gain all of it in the corners. But this track is heavy on the straight lines, so yeah. It looks like it's sector 2. They're at the Scari as well. There's something. Man,